Hello and welcome back to Pokemon Y Part 7. We've just come out of this fancy palace and Stephen, give me something to talk about.
Oh, it's very difficult at this point in the game. I mean, really not much else happens for a little while until you get to the next town.
Okay, well that's a good catalyst for us to talk about the news that we've missed from having not recorded in like 3 months. So the most obvious new thing is the Pokemon Let's Go games, which I know, Stephen, you've been keeping up with it. Chris, I showed you the trailer earlier on today, didn't I? What are your impressions off the bat?
Well, it looks good, but yeah, as you said, it looks a bit casual.
Well, what I'm kind of getting at when I say it's casual is it's kind of a twofold thing. Like, it seems like a productive way to get the Pokemon Go crowd into the main series. It's like a gateway sort of thing, you know, like they've played Pokemon Go, they're mobile casual normies, and I have no problem with saying that, but like it kind of, you know, it's a stepping stone into the main series. The problem being that I feel it seems a bit too heavy-handed with the hand-holding. There's one screenshot that I've seen, and Stephen, I can see you nodding because you know which one I mean.
Yep.
So, walk into Brock's gym, and the guy at the opening, you know, the guy who's normally like, hey, champion the making, that guy, he's saying, like, you can't progress unless you show him a grass or water type Pokemon. So basically, it's trying to railroad you into using the type effective Pokemon. Which, you know, like, I get why they're doing that. They want to push the idea of type effectiveness to players who aren't like us, who don't already have the entire thing memorised like we do. But the problem is, I feel like if you're going to do that, just say, you know, like, the most effective types for this gym are grass types and water types, rather than
making you have to and cutting off your freedom. Sort of
yeah,
thing.
it is really, because like one of Pokemon's strengths has always been that it's like one of the most flexible RPGs out there, isn't it? Like you got
it whatever way you want, sort of thing. Yeah,
you got all these different creatures that you can rotate to your liking. So to kind of say that, you know, you need to go catch this particular kind of Pokemon to progress through this gym, and I hope that they're only doing that with the first ones, like the tutorial thing. But we haven't seen any other gyms, to my knowledge, to be able to confirm. Like, are they gonna say like, "Oh, you're fucking Lieutenant Surge. You've got to go get a ground type because that's all that will do anything."
Before you progress onto the battle against Blue at the end of the game, it's like, okay, he's got this list of Pokemon, and you will need these particular types to take advantage of him, and do it in this order because this is the order he's going to be throwing them out.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, he's going to have the Arcanine. Have you got a Blastoise? You better have a Blastoise.
If you didn't start with Blastoise, just go get a Seaking or something.
Fuck yeah. But yeah, that's the other thing. The starter Pokemon, the way it works is, depending on which version you get, because there's of course Pokemon 2 versions, there are either Let's Go Pikachu or Let's Go Eevee. And now, on the surface, it seems like the obvious superior pick would be Eevee, except for the fact that that particular Eevee, they won't let it evolve.
Nope.
Oh, well, that's
Basically, what they're doing is they're doing the Pokemon Yellow thing of you can't evolve your starter, and like, I guess that the Pikachu version is basically like a spiritual successor or reimagination of Yellow. And then I suppose they're just doing the Eevee like that to match. But it's like, if you're going to give me an Eevee, let me have an Espeon, please.
teasing, isn't it?
It's like the point of Eevee is the variety there. Evolution is in its flipping name,
Yeah.
pretty much.
You say variety, but like if I get the choice, I'm going to go with Espeon because it's like the best evolution. I don't care, it is. What's that, maybe, Stephen?
Espeon is really good, I will give you that. It is one of the best. It's like, it might be the best, I'm not really sure because all of them are great in their own way, so of course it is situational.
They're all great in their own way, except Leafeon. Fuck that thing.
Okay, fuck you, I like Leafeon. It's Flareon that suffers the most out of all of them.
Well,
I like Flareon, but good god, it is useless.
Yeah, Flareon has no moves, that's its issue. Like, I don't get why they would have that issue though, given that like it's, you know, if you're gonna have the elemental evolutions, like say, you know, it can go into a water type and then it can do loads of cool water shit, or it can go into an electric type and have like loads of thunder attacks, or it can evolve into the fire type and do fucking nothing.
I mean, it's like for ages people wanted it to learn, I think Flame Charge it was, so that then it could get speed boost. But even that didn't end up helping it much when it did eventually get it as a move.
I seem to recall, like, hasn't it got like some absurdly high special attack stat, but no special moves, or something like that?
I don't know actually. I haven't looked at its stats. I always assumed that its attack was fairly high, which would have made sense since Flame Charge, Flare Blitz, one of the most powerful fire moves you can learn. I mean, then again,
Well, maybe it is the regular attack. I'm just thinking, like, I think
It
the
might be.
biggest issue was like before the physical special split, and like it didn't really have much fire shit it could do.
I mean, it should be able to learn Flamethrower and Fire Blast. I mean, I can imagine its special attack being fairly high for those reasons.
Maybe. Like, I am talking out my ass for it going by things I read a very long time ago, so kind of take that how you will, but...
Plus, it does have a fairly useful ability in Guts, which, if it's poisoned, or, well, actually, only if it's poisoned, because it can't be burned, because it's
True.
a fire type, its attack will increase each round. So... but it will also be heavily crippled by the increasing damage it takes from the toxic.
I'm dying of poison, but I can do a bitchin' rock smash.
Yeah. Well, no, it can't.
Oh no, can it not learn rock smash?
I don't think it can.
Oh, I don't know.
I mean,
Maybe
the
strength.
evolutions do learn their types move pool, really. They don't really learn much more variety outside of that, because Vaporeon can't learn many ice moves. If it can only learn like one or two, but not particularly great ones.
Or even then, like these days, we've got Glaceon as the thing
Exactly.
that, and Glaceon's honestly a cooler design than Vaporeon.
Yeah.
No, I prefer Vaporeon. It speaks more to its typing.
Maybe, although like Glaceon's got like the sort of like icy features to it.
Not really, it's a very sleek design. It's got that weird arching thing with its ears coming down the side of
Yeah,
its
I like
face.
that.
And it's black and blue. That's about it. There's not much that really screams ice type other than its colour.
Like, I do have a bit of a soft spot for Vaporeon, given that's the one that I used in Pokemon XD on my first run, but we should probably actually address the other Gen 1 throwback that's on the screen right now, because in order to progress, we had to acquire the Pokeflute to awaken Snorlax here. And Snorlax I seem to recall him being quite useful in Gen 1, wasn't he?
Yeah, he is pretty strong. He's got good health, good attack, good defense. Not brilliant special, and not brilliant speed.
Snorlax has bad speed, really? Oh, I thought he'd be running fucking marathons like that.
Yeah, it could pick up speed if he uses rollout.
Oh yeah, true. Can it? I would love to see it like learn extreme speed or something.
Well, it does start running in its Z-move animation, so...
Oh, does it? What?
Yeah, it runs towards the enemy, jumps up in the air, and then flattens them, causing a nuclear explosion.
Holy shit, that'd kill it.
Yeah.
It's a shame that, you know, what's the final evolution of the Fire Starter one?
In what?
Sun and Moon.
Incineroar.
Yeah, him. It's a shame that that's like his special Z move, the dark one.
Darkest Lariat.
Yeah. Imagine Snorlax using that. Imagine Snorlax climbing on the side of the boxing ring and then pouncing down.
It's like, I'm not familiar with the other two Z moves. I'm familiar with Decidueyes. I can't remember the name, but I know what it looks like.
Yeah, well, Darkest Lariat is probably my favourite of the Z moves just because of that animation. But here's Mr. Stuck-Up with his Furfrou, and I think they've got this whole thing about him learning to be less of a snob or some shit like that, but who really gives a shit? We're never going to talk to him again.
Yeah. It's like, speaking of Gen 1 throwbacks, I was thinking earlier on about how every generation excluding Gen 1 for obvious reasons, but every generation has some sort of throwback or strong connection to Gen 1.
Well, I would say 5 doesn't really. 5 is
Yeah,
more of
but-
an XP of Gen 1
Yeah,
rather than...
That's kind of the throwback there, the fact that it tries to be Gen 1 with a lot of its Pokemon.
Well, I don't think that's explicitly a throwback. That's more just like, well, if we're not having the Gen 1 Pokemon, then we need something to take its place. So, like, that is kind of my issue with Universe Dex as a whole, though, in that, like, I feel like they're just redesigning original designs. It's like Rock'n'Roller is just Geodude.
It is.
And, like, you know, it's kind of, they're just filling the slots that the Pokemon from Gen 1 would fill. And it kind of makes me think that they would have probably been better off just using the original Pokemon and just spending their design efforts on more unique stuff. Although their idea of more unique stuff is fucking Cryogonal, so maybe not. That is such a stupid fucking design.
I don't even hate it.
I hated it at first. Now it's kind of like grown on me as a stupid fucking thing. Like, I don't like it. I don't think it's a good design. It seems like a terrible design to me.
I don't mind it. They did what they could with a snowflake. And I think what they got out of it was kind of decent.
How is it a snowflake? You don't even have a Tumblr account.
Oh, for goodness sake, I hate you so much.
But speaking of cool designs, what do you think of Smeargle?
Smeargle's okay.
Yeah.
I like Smeargle because it looks sort of dorky, doesn't it? Like that face, and like I could see him just, you know, painting with his tail for ages and ages.
It can learn almost every move.
Yeah, well, it does that off the back of Sketch, doesn't it?
Yes.
Which, that's pretty cool, right? It's maybe not as adaptable as Mew in learning every TM, but still.
Well, while it doesn't have the stats to back it up, it can learn more than Mew because Mew has to learn, it can only learn stuff via TMs and what it gets from levelling up.
Yeah, doesn't it earn a new thing every 11 levels, doesn't it?
10.
10, is it? Oh, that's easy to remember. Yeah. I don't know why I confused myself. Although, speaking of that, Mew can learn Attract because of the every TM thing.
And that doesn't work because it's a neutral gender.
Like it's genderless, yeah. But there's one other Pokemon I found out about recently that's also like that. Do you know what Pokemon that is?
I'm not sure. What?
Cryogonal.
Oh,
Cryogonal can learn Attract, even though it has no gender and therefore can't attract a Pokemon.
I feel like that should be the complete opposite. If it's gender neutral, it should be able to attract both.
Okay, so every gender neutral Pokemon is bisexual. How does that work?
How does it work that they could even breed?
Because they, like, Ditto is anything you want it to be. But anyway, we are getting our Waltortle, so Squirtle is growing up. I like Waltortle, though it is very much like the awkward middle stage of
teenager stage.
It's Squirtle with a slightly bigger tail and ears.
Basically.
That's it. You can actually pluck the ears off. It'd just be like, oh, you're cosplaying.
Well, I mean, it'd probably hurt. Just saying, just throwing that out there. What are we encountering here? Oh, it's this fucking thing. Yeah, it's okay. Like,
it should have been part grass.
Yeah, it's just pure fairy, isn't it?
Yeah, but then again, if it was part grass, it would have a 4 times weakness to poison move, so...
Although, like, there are worse types you could have 4 times to, isn't there? Like, there's not... Are there really that many hugely offensive poison attacks?
Not really, now that I think about it. I mean...
Cause, like,
poison is a bit understated, really.
Yeah, because like, I think of poison, like offensive attacks, and I'm just thinking like of acid, sludge bomb, stuff like that.
Poison jab. There's gunk shot. That is the strongest special move for poison types.
Yeah, but even then, I don't think I see that often.
So frequently people just use poison for the status. So people fling out toxic spikes.
Yeah, toxic spikes is like a useful thing for like a setup, but like in terms of actual poison as a status move, like just as an attack that inflicts that, like everything basically can learn toxic. So
yeah,
it kind of, you know, it doesn't surprise me that poison doesn't get much representation. But has there ever been a poison legendary?
There is kind of now.
Arceus with a plate doesn't count.
Not Arceus. I'm not including Arceus.
Right, okay.
There's that new, one of the recent Ultra Beast, Poipole.
Oh, yeah, that fucking thing. Yeah.
I mean, it's not a legendary because you can actually catch quite a lot of the Ultra Beasts. I think you can repeatedly catch them in Ultra Sun and Moon.
Yeah, I think they respawn, don't they?
Yeah, so in a sense, they're not legendary, but you do only get one of Poipole. And I can't remember what it evolves into, but it becomes a Dragon Poison type.
I've got to point out the evolution here. We're evolving a lot of stuff this part, I've noticed, but yes, this Pokemon, it's the original bird, but it does evolve into a fire-flying type, which that's a neat variant. It does make you worry about the state of the wilderness around here if you know, you got like this region's equivalent of a pigeon just setting fire to the trees. That doesn't sound safe.
Plus it now becomes extremely weak to rock moves.
Yeah, that another 4 times weakness. That's a more damaging 4 times than poison ever will be.
Especially when you throw Stealth Rock into the mix.
Oh Jesus fucking Christ, that'll die before it comes out, doesn't it?
It takes out half of its health.
Although saying that, you can probably imagine that this Fletchinger, or however the fuck you pronounce it, it's gonna get replaced with another fire-flying Pokemon later down the line. Because, of course.
Reasons.
Yes, very big reasons.
It's sad to see Fletchinder go and its eventual evolution.
Its eventual evolution with the laziest fucking name out there.
I don't know, there's lazier ones.
Well,
Hoot.
Seal. Yeah. But yeah,
at least when it comes to lazy for its evolution, it at least sounds somewhat decent-ish.
No, it sounds like the most fan-gamey Pokemon name.
I don't care,
Talonflame.
I like it.
Like Talonflame seems like a kind of amateur thing. What is it? It's a bird and it has fire attacks. Talonflame, that adds up. You know, like it does seem a bit, you know, lazy there. We are taking on like a double battle now with painters. I don't think we've really talked about this much in this run, but double battles as a concept, it's something I've been thinking about given I've replayed Colosseum recently. I kind of have more appreciation for double battles these days in that there's that extra level of strategy going on. Because, like, as well as the fact that it takes away the shift option in battles, so you kind of got that extra difficulty challenge. There's also the fact of moves that affect things more widely on the field. And in some cases that's useful, other cases not so much. I don't like how they retcon Surf. So, because like it used to be in Gen 3 that it would hit both of the other Pokemon. Now it hits both of the other Pokemon and your other one.
Yeah.
So,
so there's a bit of a drawback there from many moves,
yeah,
which I kind of like. Personally,
I do with like the super powerful one. Like I think it's a fair drawback with Earthquake because Earthquake is like a fucking killer.
Yeah, because ground moves are particularly lethal. I mean, granted, unless you're a flying type, but unless you're not, ground generally does very well against everything.
Yeah, I do want to point out how much of a problem that is in Colosseum when you were fighting Dakeem. Because he has this strategy where he'll have one of his Pokemon use Protect and the other one use Earthquake, and they'd rotate. Like they can just sort of spam it and without consequence. But what's like the cherry on top in making that so fucking annoying? His Shadow Pokemon that he sends out, while he's still got all these Pokemon throwing Earthquake around, his Shadow Pokemon is Entei. So, like, if you want to catch that before his other Pokemon kills it with Earthquake.
No. Oh, that's atrocious.
It's like, you know, you have to make a point of knocking out every Pokemon as quickly as you can, because if he's still got one out, like, the Entei can't use Protect, so the Entei's just gonna fucking die. Yeah, I kind of like Colosseum. I'm probably gonna end up covering that elsewhere soon, like that's why I've been replaying it, but like yeah, I kind of want them to give that format another try, Because, like, Colosseum is an interestingly made game, but it's got, like, loads of irritating little quirks that I think can be sort of ironed out.
Yeah.
Like, just the pacing in general, really.
And here's the Battle Chateau.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to stick around here.
Which is kind of just slapped onto this route.
Yeah, it is. It feels kind of awkward and out of place here, really, doesn't it?
It's like, this is a nice scenic route, and there's a big fucking building over there.
Yeah.
Why?
So, I can't for the life of me remember what things happen here.
Oh, it's kind of like Battle Frontier, although people would probably lynch me for saying that because they love Battle Frontier and that. It's like restrictive rules and that, like you'd have online. So it's like level 50, you can use items, you can't use the same Pokemon a numerous amount of times on your team.
Yeah, which makes sense, although what seems weird is that there are other facilities in this game for that. Like, there's that thing in Lumiose, which I'll be showing off in the post-game, as well as something in the post-game city as well. So it kind of feels a bit odd, although I did notice we got the title of Lady Flemis, so, you know, I'm a classy bitch, I can take that. It's not quite as great as my friends calling me God, but it works. Yeah, because, you know, what you need in Pokemon is a social club, isn't it? Where everyone's got their own head, like, firmly planted in their arse. Not bitter.
Yes, but what you created in this is a cult.
Yeah? It's fine if it's me they worship.
Thank God they're not real people. Otherwise I would be concerned.
I don't have my own cult, this sucks. I'm being polite talking to this guy. I'm never going to talk to him again.
Yeah, it's really irritating that some of the people in this ask for tips. It does nothing.
Yeah, it does literally nothing other than just being nice. And, like, when he's got his head up his arse, do I really want to do that? Like, well, is that... is tipping common in France? Like, is that a cultural thing?
I don't think it is.
I have no clue.
No, it's fucking like... Because some cultures are very like, you know, that's just a way that you do things, isn't it? Someone helps you out. America's weird with its tipping. Like, just as a tangent to wrap up the part, it's like, I remember getting in like a bit of a Twitter debate, seeing someone like who works in a cafe, either a cafe or a restaurant in the US, being whining that their tip was only like 10% of what the meal was or something. Because like they apparently have this strong culture that, like, you know, if you're leaving a tip, it's like, I think 15%. And like, that's weird for us because like we just give whatever change we get, really, don't we? You know, like, you know, good service, thank you. You know, have your change back or whatever. If you just throw a little bit down, doesn't it? You don't really think about it in terms of proportions.
Yeah, over there, that's part of the paying for it, like giving the tip. Otherwise,
it's like just weirdly calculated. And then there's other countries as well. I remember being on holiday, I think in Egypt, and like that's very much at any service is like, you know, like they do it for not much, but you give them a tip. But then that gets a bit silly when it's like people hanging outside the toilets, handing out toilet roll.
Oh yeah,
and they want a tip for that. You know, that seems a bit silly. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next time where we'll be making our way towards Ambret Town. I think I pronounced that right. If not, I'm stupid. See you next time.